I don't even need to go to the theater to see Superman because the Kryptonian was dominating the hardwood tonight. Werewolf, warehouse, Alienware, I don't care, as the Miami Heat lose by 20 points to the Cleveland Cavaliers and give up a whopping 22 offensive rebounds. Oh my God. I thought last game was bad when they gave up 20. Today they gave up 22? I know this is reminiscent of the main squad last year. I'm hoping that won't be the case this year. So obviously it's hard to judge everything considering only a couple of these guys on this Heat Summer League team will actually be playing in the real rotation. And of course, one of them is Kel'el Ware, who really was the story of today's game going into the game because of the brutally honest and correct comments that Eric Spoelstra made in the practice just yesterday, I believe, where he really called out Kel'el Ware for his efforts, his professionalism, and for Spoelstra to call out someone for those things. That was a big deal, especially to us Heat fans, because we know Spoelstra doesn't typically call players out in the public, which really tells us how many times did he stress these things in private before he felt the need to make it public. Of course, that was a little scary for us Heat fans to hear and obviously see. We've been seeing those things that Spoelstra said. Kel'el Ware really looked like he was too cool for school out there, and those are also the same concerns that we had when he was drafted. That's why he slipped to 15, because as Eric Spoelstra said, the talent is there. It's really the effort thing that was concerning for a lot of people. In his rookie season, I don't feel like we saw a lot of that, but of course through 4 Summer League games, it's very frustrating just seeing him kind of lollygag out there. You know, he should be able to sleepwalk into a double-double. He's out there getting 3 rebounds, you know. So that was a little frustrating. Spoelstra called him out. I thought that was really just a big deal amongst Heat fans, but apparently those comments went nationwide because to start the broadcast, which was really great, by the way, I feel like Jared Greenberg and Richard Jefferson did a great job. Those guys have a great chemistry. I think Richard Jefferson specifically is hilarious. I really do like those two, which is rare for me to like a national broadcast. So shout out to what, NBA TV or TNT, ESPN, who cares? Shout out to them for putting together a good crew tonight. But anyways, from the jump, they were talking about those comments that Eric Spoelstra made about Kel'el Ware's effort. And I was like, damn, even they were mentioning it. So of course, all eyes were on Ware today. And from the jump, once again, they were looking for him early, got the first basket to go, had some really tough plays in both the first and second half. There was also a lot of things I didn't like necessarily. We'll kind of get into that as the game goes on, where we'll start with the starting lineup. You had no Kira Lewis today, so we were really hoping to see some more Kasparis Yakachonis on-ball reps. We saw some, and, you know, I'm not trying to flip-flop on the kid. He's 19 years old. We even said last video he's going to have his ups and downs as a rookie, so it's important not to get too high or too low. But all the credit that he earned from fans last game, probably lost a lot of it today, because as good as he was in his first Vegas game, he was that bad today. And it's like, okay, like I said, I'm not trying to get too hard on the kid, but if you're going to, you don't have to score 24 points and hit 5 threes like you did last game, but don't keep hitting all backboard on threes. And there was another one of those today. So I don't feel like I'm in the wrong for saying that Kasparis has too many all backboard threes for my liking. Like, he literally had one that hit all backboard, like 3 feet to the right of the rim, didn't even hit the rim. And it's like, that stuff's concerning. If you're missing shots, you're taking good shots, but missing, fine. If you have a couple turnovers because you're fitting in some tight windows, fine. But he really went, back to showing absolutely nothing out there, except for some really nice defensive plays and hustle. But we'll continue to get into that too. So you had Kira Lewis come off the bench today. Eric Stevenson started for him. And then the one thing I want to note on the Cavaliers side is our guy from the University of Miami, Norchad Omier, really played well today. He's had a nice summer league so far. And even though he left Miami, I think he transferred his senior season to Baylor, I think it was. Still a big fan of him. Of course, he was a huge part of that Hurricanes team that went to the Final Four with Jordan Miller, who's also having another great summer league, and Isaiah Wong. So I love Norchad Miller for life. 6'7", but he plays like he's 7 feet, especially today where he's getting all the offensive rebounds along with everyone else on the Cavaliers team. Kel'el Ware, 7 feet, couldn't tell. Sorry, this is not the video to get on Kel'el Ware, but shout out to Norchad Omier. Really happy to see him play well today. But let's get into my notes from the first quarter, where we said they went to Ware right away. Did a great job using his shoulder. Got that little jump hook to go. The next possession, he kind of forced a tough fadeaway from about 15 feet out. I'm okay with some of those, but it's like when you're that tall, I would rather see you get to the jump hook from closer in than the fadeaway, because usually guards will fade away so they can create separation from a taller defender. But when you're Kel'el Ware and you're already taller than everybody else, you don't need a fadeaway. And I think Kel'el Ware has really great touch inside. We saw that a lot last year. We saw some of that today. But he doesn't have a great back to the basket jump hook where he can turn over either shoulder, finish with a jump hook. Something that we did see a lot from Hassan Whiteside. There was a lot of comparison of those two over the last couple of days, which I don't agree with, because Whiteside was a guy that would go all out. Now, he would go for his stats, instead of team success. But I don't really get the comparison there. I don't really feel like effort was an issue with Hassan Whiteside, especially before he got paid. He was great before he got paid, but even once he got paid, he would pout a little bit when he didn't get the ball and stuff, but he was active. He just wanted the ball. He wanted his stats, which is not a good thing. It's just not necessarily the same issue with Kel'el Ware, who is more so lollygagging out there. But anyways, I want to see Kel'el Ware work on that jump hook a little bit more. Has a nice push shot floater, for when he's faced up to the rim. Just needs to work on his back to the basket game a little bit more. The ensuing possession, he had a great pass to Pelle Larsson, who was cutting. Kel'el Ware, I think his passing is very underrated. That's one of the reasons I do think he has the potential to be more of a special player in this league. There's a handful of guys in this league that are very athletic, tall guys, but very few of them have the kind of skill that Kel'el Ware has, and he shows these flashes with these passes that he can do. Had a few of them tonight that some of them weren't even caught by his teammate, but they were still great passes, so I wanted to note that for him as well tonight, because I think that might be lost. But from the Cavaliers side of things, 7 offensive rebounds in the first 4 minutes. That part was kind of frustrating, just because as well as Ware was playing, if you're 7 feet tall, the other team shouldn't be getting that many rebounds, especially when their starting lineup had their tallest player was 6'9". Yeah, they had Norchet Omir, who's a great rebounder, but he's 6'7", and I don't want to put all the blame of Kel'el Ware on or all the blame of the offensive rebound on Kel'el Ware. Like we said in the last post game, I really have to watch film to dissect what that issue is, because Ware could be boxing out his man, but if someone else doesn't go for the rebound or box out their man, it's a team thing. Rebounding is really a team thing. I'm not going to show any highlights in this video, because maybe we'll do a Kel'el Ware thing tomorrow. Hopefully I can find some clips of these misses and stuff so we can kind of dissect the good and the bad, but stay tuned for that. But Kel'el Ware kept going in the first quarter. He finished with 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 blocks. The one thing I did notice, though, is a lot of the times when he's going for rebounds, he just goes with it with one hand. I think that's something that I first heard 5 Reasons mention, so I wanted to start paying closer attention to that. And it's true. I think he's so used to growing up being the tallest guy there. He can just jump up, use his athleticism, grab these balls with one hand and bring it in. But it's like you're playing against athletic guys now. Everyone is athletic, especially in the actual NBA. I wish he would be a little bit stronger and use that added 10 pounds to his muscle. Go with 2 hands, get a lot of these rebounds. Because even today, he bobbled a few, only finished with 9 rebounds, which, 9 is fine, in the NBA terms. But it's like, against this competition, I'd like to see him get 13 to 14 rebounds. Still think he can be a little bit more aggressive there. I feel like the energy was great offensively, but defensively or rebounding wise, at least a little bit more. Maybe go up a little bit stronger with 2 hands. But then this part was interesting. Dennis Scott, our guy 3D, interviewed Kel'el Ware at the end of the first quarter. Basically asked, he had a good first quarter. What was working for you out there? And at first, Kel'el Ware, he kind of chuckled because he kind of knew everything that was going on surrounding him with Spoelstra's comments. And Ware gave a good answer. He said, listen, I'm just playing with more effort out there tonight. That's something I haven't been doing. I need to continue doing that, and I need to continue bringing it defensively. Boom. Great answer. He acknowledged it, didn't act like it didn't exist, said he needs to continue doing it. He had a fine game today. I'll try not to get too hyped, but I know I started this video screaming his name, but that's just for the catchy intro, I guess. So what's important now is stacking good days. Today was a good day for Kel'el Ware. Continue to stack those, and then I'll get really, really optimistic about you. But the Heat were down 4 after the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Ware had one of 2 nasty, nasty plays that he had. The first one was a lob that he caught maybe it was from Kira Lewis. Absolutely bodied the defender. His catch radius is insane. He's one of the guys you can throw the ball up anywhere, and he could just slam it in. I really wish this Heat team had a true point guard. I was hoping that was Kasparis. He's not ready yet. But if they had a guy like LeBron's name's been out there, Luka and Bam were just partying in Greece together. I'm not saying they got to be a superstar guard, but let's have some fun. If the Heat was to get one of those two guys, imagine how good they could set up Kel'el Ware. Like, Kel'el Ware could easily be so dominant. He's just so athletic with such great hands on the pick and lob that I wish the Heat had someone that could consistently set him up in the pick and roll. That would be really fun to watch. Kind of like Wade and Dragic used to do to Whiteside back in the day. So, a lot of Ware's offensive inconsistencies, I still don't think they're all his fault. He's a guy that needs to be set up. They caught that lob. Then he had this other play where he did this time he didn't settle for a fade in the post, did like a drop step into the defender, tried to dunk on his head, was able to direct the ball into the hoop and won. Monster play. And on that one, I love that he was able to use his physicality. The broadcast then later in the second quarter, they were talking about Kasparis, wasn't great offensively, but then they mentioned his defense, which is something that I've been talking about, and I want to give some more credit to it because although he's not hitting his shots at a super high rate right now, at least not this game, didn't even really shoot that much, he's still bringing it defensively, and that's the part that makes me sort of optimistic that, okay, maybe he can play a little bit this year because if you don't play defense, you're not going to get on the court. I know Tyler Hero's our starter, but Tyler Hero is one of the best scorers in the league right now. But as a rookie, a guy who needs to prove himself, the way you do that for Erik Spoelstra is by doing it defensively, and that's what Kasparis was doing today. It was funny, as soon as the broadcast mentioned it, Kasparis had like a help steal or a help defense steal where he was able to pick the pocket of the guy, go coast to coast, finish with the layup to end the quarter. And that steal, it was kind of Jimmy Butler-esque. You know how Jimmy was so quick and had the defensive IQ to, as soon as the offensive player, that he wasn't guarding, would turn his head one way or about to go another direction, Jimmy would sneak in there and poke the ball away. That's what Kasparis did. And as a guy who's not super athletic, because he didn't even dunk this ball. It looked like he tried to dunk and he couldn't get up that high. I'm assuming he can dunk. He's 6'6", but this one he just laid in. So for a guy who's not that athletic, again, just to have that energy and defensive IQ to be able to make steals like that, it was very impressive to me. And then, so the Heat, I think, were actually down. Let me find. Okay, they were down as much as 13 in the second quarter, but they cut it to 3 because they went on a little bit of a run. Kel'el Ware hit a 3. Then I think Javonte Cook hit a 3. So they went on a nice run to make it a 3-point game at halftime after being down 13. Ware had 17 and 6 at the half. And then in the third quarter, not a lot went right. That's where Kasparis had that 3 that hit all backboard. Our guy Dane Danger, very rough outing for him. Was forcing layups, missing layups, bobbling rebounds. He did crush a guy on a moving screen, though. It was funny on the broadcast, too. Greenberg said that Danger is like 255, and Richard Jefferson said, nope, he ain't 255. He's probably pushing 300, which I would agree with, and he did set a moving screen, and after that poor Cavs player just flew to the ground, so at least Dane Danger did that. Listen, I like Danger, but he is what he is at this point. Maybe the Heat can develop him into something because of his size. And I don't know. At the very least, I think he'd be a good energy guy just to throw in for 5 to 10 minutes a game, at some point, if they were able to develop his offensive skill a little bit, get him in a little bit better shape. But nothing good for the Heat in the third quarter. Kasparis, again, with the turnovers, was trying to spin into defenders. I said this last video, too. We did a film analysis. Kasparis had some tough lays where he forced it into the defense, did a Euro step, tough off-balance finish. It's beautiful when it works. When it doesn't, it's damn ugly. And tonight it didn't work. Had a few turnovers where he just forced it a bit too much. And then in the fourth quarter, I didn't even note nothing there. We'll run through the box score real quick, just kind of talk about each guy a little bit more. Kasparis today, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 turnovers. Never good when you have more turnovers than field goals and assists. He shot 2 of 5 today. Yeah, not great. Not a rough one. I wish he didn't come all the way back down after his great game last game, but he did. He wasn't even average. He was terrible, but that's fine. He'll continue to work and get better. He's only 19 years old. Keshad Johnson. Oh, Keshad had such a great game that last California Classic, and not been great since. 5 points, 5 rebounds today. 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3. Here's the thing about Keshad Johnson, right? The Heat guaranteed his standard contract. they may have to waive him at some point this year just to open a roster spot. Maybe they sign Kashad back to a two-way, because I think they were hoping he'd be ready to be a rotation guy. That's not the case. He's an elite defender on ball. That's definitely true. He'll always be probably the most athletic guy out there. And he's a great transition scorer. In transition, he's got the lob, he's got the dunks, he's great in that. But in the half-court setting, he's kind of useless offensively at this point. He's not a good enough shooter to really space the floor, be that corner sitter, and move off ball. He doesn't do enough of that, in my opinion. And he'll continue to get better at that. Certainly not counting him out at any regard. I just think he's maybe a little bit behind schedule from where they thought. Because even in that Summer League game where he dominated, a lot of his points were in transition, not too much in the half court. So hopefully he can bounce back next game, which he'll get a bigger opportunity after next game, because Pela's last game, they said, is tomorrow. He'd have a back-to-back tomorrow versus let me find out who they play tomorrow. They play the Celtics tomorrow. Hugo Gonzalez and the Celtics tomorrow at 8 p.m. But after that, Pelle Larsson's actually going to Sweden to practice with the Swedish team for Eurobasket, which would be really fun because, of course, you got Jovic with Serbia, Fontecchio with Italy. So that'll be a really fun tournament for Heat fans. Starts the end of August, I believe. So maybe once Larsson leaves, Kashad will get some more opportunity. We'll talk about Pelle real quick today. 14 points for him. But the part I like, 14 points on 6 shots. He continues getting to the free throw line. 8 attempts for him today. Knocked 6 of them down. Even on the broadcast, they said 90% of the time Pelle has the ball. He's getting to the line. And he does. I'm glad he continues to do that. Even hit a couple threes today after going 1 for 7 last game. Yeah, he was 2 for 2 today. Kind of got on him a bit for that, saying, I wish you'd, or I didn't get on him, but I'm saying I acknowledge that he needs to work on his shooting a little bit more. Today he was better, so hopefully he continues to improve upon that. Stevenson got you 10 points in the starting lineup. He did shoot well today, outside of this 135-foot Denzel Valentine-esque shot that he took. I don't know why he did that. But then Kel'el Ware today, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Hit a couple tough ones today. And then, no assist? Yeah, no assist. That's right. Pelle got fouled on that one. But he made some nice plays today, too. We talked about Ware enough this video. Hopefully he continues to stack on good days. I just would like to see him show a little bit more energy on the rebounding side of things. And then on the bench today, no one else too much of significance. Kerry Lewis, 9 points, 5 assists. And then Steve Settle, he's someone a few of us were optimistic about going into this summer league. We may or may not have said he's the next Kevin Durant. I don't remember, but he's very skinny out there and his handle is not good. So it hasn't quite worked out the way I hoped. But really, that's all I got to say for this video. Miami Heat, whether summer league, regular season, get their ass kicked by the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is what it is. But they have a chance to bounce back tomorrow. And I'll never not be happy if they can beat the Boston Celtics. So we'll see what happens. I'll see y'all in the next video. Make sure to leave your comments down below. Very curious to what you think. Y'all peep the new setup. If anything is out of place or whatever, give me some time to work on it. I just set it all up today. I still need some more time to move the lights around, figure out what I'm going to do. Still have some more furniture coming in the mail. We're going to put a shelf right here. So I'm still working on it. The whole setup's a work in progress. Got to move some things around even on this shelf. But I just wanted to start recording in here. So appreciate the support. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. I'm on the grind to hit 9,000 subs. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.